Good morning. This is KELOLAND On the Go with all you need to know news and weather as you start your day.
Initiated Measure 28, the ballot measure to repeal the tax on items for human consumption, got more attention this week. Senator Lee Schoenbeck and Representative Hugh Bartle says Rick Weiland, one of the organizers of IM 28, should stop saying the Legislative Research Council advised him to use human consumption on the ballot. The LRC says they do not give advice.
Weiland says the LRC sent him a letter that discussed the wording of IM 28. The agency shared recommendations, and to Weiland, that's advice. Digital reporter Ray Yost digs into the lawmaker letter and has a response from Weiland in a KELOLAND.com original story on our website.
More than a dozen states and the District of Columbia have filed lawsuits against TikTok, alleging the popular short-form video app is harming youth mental health by designing its platform to be addictive to kids.
At the heart of each lawsuit is the TikTok algorithm, which powers what users see. Avera clinical psychologist Wallace Jackman says there's no doubt about the addictive nature of social media.
It's important to know that social media addiction, overuse of social media, overuse of social phones, or cell phones have an addictive quality, and they are distinctly correlated to increases in anxiety and depression.
TikTok does not allow children under 13 to sign up for its main service and restricts some content for everyone under 18. But the latest lawsuit says children can easily bypass those restrictions.
Republican Dusty Johnson has occupied South Dakota's only spot in the U.S. House of Representatives for 3 terms. Now Democratic challenger Cheryl Johnson of Sioux Falls wants to take his spot.
Her candidacy marks the first time in a general election since 2018 that Dusty Johnson has had an opponent from the other major party.
Most people in South Dakota are really nice, and when you have to stop and think about it, we have more in common. Everybody loves their families, they want safe communities, they want good education for their children. They just want a better world for their families.
KELOLAND's Dan Santella is scheduled to sit down with Dusty Johnson this afternoon. Now let's head over to the KELOLAND Live Doppler Storm Center to get a check on this morning's weather. Good morning, Scott.
All right, good morning, Perry. Good morning, everybody. Today's forecast, plenty of sunshine, temperatures remaining very warm. A lot of us hitting the middle 80s for afternoon highs, and this happens with light winds. It will be another warm or hot day tomorrow with temperatures in the low 90s in central South Dakota. Brian will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Volunteers from KELOLAND are helping people impacted by Hurricane Helene. As of yesterday afternoon, nearly 100 disaster responders from the American Red Cross, Minnesota, and Dakotas region were in the southeast.
Volunteers are also expected to deploy to help with Hurricane Milton.
It's very fluid. Some folks, are coming and going now over the next several weeks and months to really respond to both of those hurricanes.
The Red Cross says blood donations are needed from people living outside of the affected areas. To find a blood drive, just head to this story on KELOLAND.com.
This is Fire Prevention Week, and fire departments across the country are shining a spotlight on the importance of smoke alarms. Sioux Falls Fire Rescue spent Tuesday installing smoke alarms at 80 homes across the city at no cost to the homeowners.
If you live in Sioux Falls and need new smoke alarms, call the Helpline Center at 211.
Getting on ladders and those type of things is a little frightening to me, and so it was wonderful for Sioux Falls Fire Rescue to come in and do this. I really appreciate it, and I encourage anybody that's listening. It's free, it saves lives, please do it.
Smoke alarms should be replaced at least every 10 years. These battery-operated smoke alarms were donated by the Red Cross.
Find out how Fire Rescue is raising money to purchase hardwire and combo alarms with this story on KELOLAND.com.
People in Brookings can expect some detours along Main Street during SDSU's homecoming weekend. The stretch from 3rd to 5th Streets includes several downtown bars.
The road closure begins Saturday morning for the Hobo Day Parade and will last for 24 hours. The decision was made by Brookings police, who say safety is their top priority.
That is a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last check of your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, our weather update here today. Well, we're definitely getting into another warm cycle of weather. We've got temperatures likely in the 80s this afternoon across the board. And with that, too, just a few clouds here and there. And also, we need to mention the haze in the atmosphere across the central and the west. That's been kind of a lingering story, so we definitely want to account for that. Forecast tonight will cool back without much wind. I think we'll be generally down in the 50s during that overnight period. And then for tomorrow, rebounding back into 80-degree weather. Might see a few 90s. It's not out of the question here between Mitchell and Winter, up to Pierre, that whole zone in south central South Dakota, right ahead of this approaching frontal system. And you can definitely see the effects there on the weather maps. Now, that front will cool us on Friday. Our forecast is more into the 70s. That's the first. Then the second one comes in Saturday. And look what happens across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. Gone is the color of the red and the orange and the blues and the greens. Those are temperatures below average. That means 50s for highs. Can you believe that? Actually might feel kind of like fall again. Will we get any rain out of that pattern? At this point, I would be very cautious about that. It doesn't look like much rain, if any. We'll keep watching it, see if anything changes. But for now, it looks like mainly just a big temperature drop. 86 degrees today, Mitchell. Mid-80s, really common here west of the James Valley. There's the lows tonight, upper 40s, low 50s. And then we'll kick off right off the bat there with a warming trend tomorrow morning. 90 our high in Winter, 91 in Valentine, mid-80s Sioux Falls. Now, that 7-day forecast. Friday, Saturday, we cool things into the 70s, so that's one pullback. Then Sunday, with the northwest wind, we're going to have temperatures in the mid-60s, and we're going to set up at least a couple of mornings with frost and freeze type weather. I think that's pretty likely. We've got some math to do on how cool these temperatures could pull back, but all signs are pointing toward that. Obviously, when we get closer, we'll be able to give you a few more details about that. But if we stay in the 50s during the day, it's going to be a shoe-in that we'll have some frost and freeze conditions. Aberdeen, we've already lowered your low down to 28 there on Monday morning, pretty close to that Tuesday morning. So I would give that at least 2 days of pretty chilly weather. And then for Pierre and Rapid City, also a pretty big cool back. We've got temperatures back into the mid to upper 50s on Monday in Pierre. That's a dramatic difference from these 80s and 90s that have been reoccurring. Rapid City, you're also going to cool into the low 60s early next week. Check out more details online at KELOLAND.com.